everybody. We are here today with Alex Hoffer. He's joining us on MusicReach. We're going to ask him a few questions about his musical career and path and what led him to today playing such awesome acoustic funk folk rock with a little hint of blues. How you doing today, Alex?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Corey?
I'm doing all right. A little chilly out here. We're out near Toronto, Canada.
Yep. I realized earlier when I talked to you that I said, "Oh, it's -20." I was like, "Oh, anyway, he knows what I'm talking about up there."
So it's probably what is it out there near Joliet, Illinois right now?
Well, right now I think it's only like -16, but it got down to like -25 overnight, and that's the coldest it's literally ever been here.
Really? Eh?
On a single low, it was the coldest high we've ever had in Chicagoland.
Yeah.
It was -15 was the official high for the day.
So do things shut down there for the day when it gets that bad? Or?
Yeah, some things do. There's a handful of things that do. Like, for instance, the place that I play normally on Monday nights, every Monday, and the whole downtown area of downtown Joliet was pretty much all closed down. The courthouse didn't open up on Wednesday, which means most of the businesses won't open up either because they do a lot of business in downtown Joliet with, with the courthouse and the surrounding, law, all the several different kinds of law jobs that there are down there. There's law offices, as on top of being the courthouse as well.
So every Monday, is that Chicago street pubs that you play?
Yeah, that Chicago Street Pub. That's a singer-songwriter open mic we do down there. We've done it for about four years now, I'd say.
Do you ever have somebody come up and you're like, "Oh no, you got to get off right now"?
Yeah, there's been a couple times. I usually don't take them off right. I don't come up in the middle of a song or anything.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple times, and I hate doing it, but there's been a couple times where I had to stop somebody after the first song, and I was like, we're here every week, so maybe just work on it a little bit more. Come on back, And they're usually, when you do that, they're usually pretty. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. They're usually pretty nice about it. Like if you're a kind of a jerk to them, they're probably gonna be a jerk to you, as it turns out.
That's good that you do that because it can be intimidating, especially for a new player to step on stage. Usually, the open mics are the feeling out zone for new players.
That's the idea, and then the feeling out. And I like, to me, a good open mic is supposed to be about being able to come work on stuff too, live.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't think you're completely done with something and then take it to an open mic. It should be like almost a practice run to see if it worked out. I usually like to have 3 different ways of doing things, or so 3 or 4 different kinds of ways of play a song, and maybe I'll do it, in a different key. Try it at an open mic. If it doesn't work, try a different key.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's usually people who are really shy about singing.
Yeah.
Is their guitar playing isn't that good. It's just you can't hear them, and I can't turn the mic up anymore.
Yeah.
Talking this quiet.
They don't project it well.
No.
So you let them use your instruments, or they bring their own?
They have to. I supply a microphone, cables, monitor, speakers, stuff like that. But I don't anymore. I really don't let anyone use my guitar anymore unless I know them personally very well.
Okay.
Because I just bought a new guitar. That's part of that, but and also just a good idea. People should have their own instruments too if they're gonna bring. If you're gonna come every week too.
Yeah.
To something
makes sense.
Yeah.
So how did you get originally started in music?
Well, my dad used to play guitar in his basement all the time when I was a kid, and he would play classical guitar. Like, he had a classical guitar, and he just kind of farted around. He knew maybe 4 songs all the way through, but knew a lot of songs almost. You know what I mean? And he would sit down there and play, and I thought it always sounded so nice. And I asked him one year when I was like 15 or 16 if I could have a guitar, and he said, "Well, if you learn how to play it, you can have it. You can have a guitar." So the next year, when I was like 16 or 17, because I remember I was just starting to drive around the time I got my first acoustic, and he gave it to me, and he taught me a few chords.
Yeah.
Kind of learned myself the rest of what I kind of know how to do by looking up tabs and things like that.
I was just gonna ask that.
I think a lot of singer-songwriters have done that. They know what ultimate guitar is. Everyone knows what that is.
Yeah. It seems that is the more way people are going to actually, rather than learning music itself, like reading the notes, it's more now tablature, at least guitar wise. That's
for guitar. You can Yeah, exactly. It's just so many people can understand it now.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost silly not to put some stuff in it at the very least, just because that's, like you said, where a lot of people are going to be looking for it.
Yeah, really simplified things for especially for beginners.
Yeah.
So who are some of your biggest influence musically?
Well, Paul Simon is. I don't know. I love Paul Simon. I could listen to like, and not so much Simon and Garfunkel as Paul Simon, but
Yeah.
and there's no Simon and Garfunkel, but or as my dad's from Scotland, and he always says Simon and Garfunkel. I don't know why that accentuation's on there, but no, I like Paul Simon a lot. Ray LaMontagne lately.
Yes. Very good.
Also, when I was in high school, I went to see a Dave Matthews Band concert, and that turned me on to that band live, particularly.
Yeah. I can actually hear that a lot in your music coming through, and some of the horns and mandolin that I hear has that Dave Matthews Band vibe to it.
Little bit. And then, I don't have anybody specifically in blues that I was really influenced by, but I was kind of mentored into playing like at open mics, and mentored by like just telling me to keep going and keep working on stuff by a lot of blues guys in Joliet, Plainfield, and Chicago area.
Yeah.
The blues is definitely, I think, vocally more is more in me, and then guitar wise is more other stuff like Dave Matthews, little Paul Simon, little Ray,
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. I hear it more in your voice, the blues, and it must be tough. Like, do you find there's pressure because you're so close to Chicago? Like Buddy Guy, Muddy Waters, Herbie Hancock all came from Chicago, or?
I'm surprised you asked that too, because I've never heard. I know Chicago's really known for the blues, right? But there are so many. There's a lot of original music out here that it's actually more music that isn't blues out here than there is that is. It's just, it's easy. Where all the blues is already.
Yeah.
I go find the other stuff, But it's not that it's, Chicago's in the last 10, 20 years, I think, particularly has really diversified their local scene, and even going into the suburbs of Chicago, because you can find different suburbs do different kinds of local music specifically. Like some places like you go for bluegrass, some places you go for blues, obviously, some places you'll go for indie rock or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can definitely almost like write a map up of like what each part of Chicagoland does, genre wise, almost in a way. It's kind of strange, but
yeah, that's pretty cool. Speaking of Chicago, in 2014, you got to sing the national anthem at the Chicago Cubs game. Sorry about that. How did you land that? How did that feel? Like that's quite an experience.
It was really awesome. I had done a couple of I did one national anthem performance at the UIC Pavilion about 2-3 months before that. A friend of mine had asked me to do it because the person was originally supposed to do it, couldn't do it. It was for a oh shit, I don't remember the name of the. I don't remember what the event was for now that I think about it. But somebody couldn't do it. I stepped in and did it, and it was a lot of fun to do that. And then she suggested I contact the Chicago, more professional sports teams. And through talking to friends of mine from the city who have sang the national anthem at Wrigley, I asked them about getting a hold of somebody. Talked to a lady named Kate. And within about 2 weeks, they had set me up with another fill-in. They needed somebody to come 2 weeks, basically. I mean, I emailed them, and I got an email back about a week later, and she was like, hey, in 2 weeks, we need somebody. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm in. Cool.
I'm in. Let me remember all the words to my own national anthem.
To be honest with you, I don't just sing that song, when I'm hanging out by myself, except for that week. I've never heard that song more than I sang it to myself that week.
Yeah.
So that was just to make sure I didn't look like a complete idiot.
Yeah. So there must have been a lot of pressure there.
It was. It was pretty nerve-wracking, walking out onto the field. And there was a moment that was pretty amazing where I was about to sing, and the guy from the announce system said, welcome Alex Hoffer to the. I'm like, okay. And as I'm about to sing, I grabbed the microphone, and I hear some guy in the back and go, Alex, take off your pants. And not somebody I knew, wasn't someone I knew. But right before I did it, if you watch the video, you actually see me like point right before I start singing. Yeah. That's what I'm pointing at. Is I'm pointing at that guy going, thanks, man. And so I sang the song, I got done, and I'm walking off. And I hear him yelling at me, going, "Hey, I hope that didn't throw you off. I'm sorry about that." I was like, "No, it was great. It actually really calmed me down, to be honest with you, because as it turns out, ironically, this guy didn't know this, but one of my really good friends, John Forkel, he always used to come to my shows and go, "Hey, Alex, take off your pants." So like, it sounded like I was just at a bar and my friends were there, like yelling at me, like they normally,
Made it a little bit more comfortable for you.
Absolutely, it was really fun though. It was an amazing experience.
So the guitar makes sense because your dad. What about singing? Did you just naturally start singing, or did you have to take lessons? Because that's something more that an instrument can't produce, that you have to create yourself, and not everybody can just sing.
I was awful for a while. Kind of like I was awful at guitar for a while, but I just kept doing it, and eventually it didn't suck as bad. Eventually it sucked little enough that I felt like I could record it myself sucking a little bit, and then listened to it and heard kind of what I was doing. And then I was just, as I got older, I kind of learned how to breathe a little bit more, pushing everything out from with no air in my lungs. That's just stuff that I kind of picked up. I would have been served to do some lessons when I was younger, but and even now. But and it was more just a lot of trial and error, really.
Yeah, and it's probably using your diaphragm that you're not used to using that. That's what I find most people, including myself, you have to be more aware of it, I guess, because a lot of people get, like you said, just use their lungs or their head voice,
Yep.
So
apparently salsa music is all head voice, but like I didn't know that. Like I heard that from somebody, and I had never heard that. The guy says you're supposed to sing through your nose. I was like, really? I've never heard anybody tell me to do that before, but I'll have to remember that.
That's what most of the 90s did, sang through their nose.
Yeah, right.
All the grunge era.
Grunge, and even some of the like the Oasis stuff. That's all nasally.
That's exactly it. And you play harmonica while you play guitar, or do you do that separately? Because I heard on a couple of your tracks harmonica, and you were listed as the player.
Yeah, I do it with a harness usually,
Nice.
But I really like playing it without.
Yeah.
But that more for if I'm playing, I'll sit in with a blues band or something and play harmonica,
Yeah.
Or I'll sit with somebody playing some bluesier tunes, or I can just sit and do some more straight stuff too. But I actually prefer playing it with my hands as opposed to the harness, but I don't really have that option all the time. So I started using a loop station though.
Yeah.
I could loop a short, rhythm and then pull that thing off and actually get in there and rip on it a little bit.
The world of music production is evolving, and gone are the days of everyone needing to sit in the same studio at the same time. With MusicReach, you can create hit tracks with your friends worldwide. MusicReach is a breakthrough music-sharing iOS app. Share your tracks and ideas with your friends and bandmates, using your chords with their vocals, bass lines, piano riffs, and more. The result? A killer final track crafted from opposite sides of the world. Whether you're a beginner musician or pro, MusicReach can and will change the way you create music. This is not just another social app. This is the ultimate musical collaboration tool, enabling you to create stellar music quickly, easily, and affordably. Kickstart your new musical journey by downloading MusicReach on the App Store now. Register and start recording to experience the difference for yourself. MusicReach. Collaborate with anyone, anywhere.
Hoffer and Wild I've been seeing on the internet lately with Colleen Wild. How did that project come to be?
Colleen and I have been friends for probably close to 10 years now. And I met her. I was hosting an open mic, actually, one of the first ones I ever hosted when I was like 23, 24, something like that. And we met, and she had a great voice, and she was just learning how to play guitar at the time. She had sung in other bands before, but she had never really done her own stuff yet. So she was just kind of getting into it, and we just kind of became friends pretty quickly. And we've never worked together until this year, really. So we both were like, I can't believe it's been this long and we've never done something like this. But her and I just got to go on a WGN in Chicago on the 28th of December and did a live performance, and it's been a lot of fun doing stuff with her. And she knows how to work with me, and vice versa, so it's cool.
It just fits.
Yeah.
That's good. And recording, do you do that, or do you find a company that does that? How do you do your tracks? Because I notice you have a couple albums here, "Free from Apathy" in 2015, and "Alive and Well" in Prison City in 2016.
Yep. So Free from Apathy and the Colleen Wild and I recordings, those were both in a place called Third City Sound, which is in downtown Joliet. It's actually right above from Chicago Street Pub, which is a place that I'm at every Monday. That it's kind of our local hub. Like that bar and that studio are kind of the hub for all the original songwriters in the Joliet area. We all know each other, and we all go there for the moment. Not all of it. There's obviously some that don't, but
yeah,
there's a solid 15 people that are all like working a lot and playing music a lot and writing a lot of music and recording, and they're all there. They're all doing it there. It's kind of a cool place to have, and then it just worked out. They have a studio upstairs as well that's run by a friend of the bar named Bill Aldridge.
Yeah,
him and Dave Francis are the two guys that kind of run the place, and I work mostly with Dave, but it's an awesome place to have there. And then the one we just did, the band one we did called Alive and Well in Prison City, we recorded that at a place called the Jam Lab, which is in Brookfield, which is right by Chicago, and that was recorded with Colin Peterick, who is Jim Peterick's dad from Survivor, I believe, or not Survivor. The Eye of the Tiger, the name of the song. I don't remember the name of their band now.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Oh,
yeah.
Shoot, I can't think off the top of my head, but that's the Rocky song, Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah. So Colin Peterick is Jim's son, and he's a really super cool guy. And our bass player in our band, through his wife, knows Colin, and we got to go in there and we did that was a lot of fun working with him too. He was a really good producer. Colin Peterick. He did a great job, like suggesting little harmony bits for us to try out and do that we had not thought about prior to. But we did all the recording on that Alive and Well in Prison City. Every bit of it was done in one day.
Wow.
Just the mixing was another day or two. But we were there for like 9 hours, and we recorded 6 tracks, I think.
Wow.
All of it. So that was fun, as much because it was almost just like we played a show and recorded it, because we didn't really take much more than twice. Which was kind of neat. And that wasn't because we didn't want it. It was just like it was all right. We felt good with what we got. We were doing it more live too. Like we had everybody set up in their own rooms and stuff, which something I really wanted to do that way. I didn't want to layer tracks up with that group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, makes sense. So looking back in the past 10 to 15 years, how do you feel that the music industry has changed, especially with streaming and being a lot harder to sell tracks?
I think the most, to me, the most visible thing is just how much more difficult it is to become visible without having a lot of, either bought or years of, presence. There's a lot of different variables that it seems like go into becoming visible to people outside of your area that didn't necessarily. You used to just book some shows and go play there.
Yeah,
that's real. You can still do that, but it's harder. People are harder to get to those places now. I feel like a little bit more than they used to be, and you just have to. I've seen a lot of bands with a lot of money behind them that has also been a big part of kind of how, not necessarily, you still gotta be good. If you're good, you're good. It doesn't matter. But sometimes having a lower amount of cash flow hurts when you're trying to put something in front of people that you think is good, and you want to do it in a time frame that is limited sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And I wonder how that affects radio, because radio trackers used to be the people to go to get your song onto radio. Now it seems a lot of people go to Apple Music or Spotify, things like that, Google Play.
Yeah, everybody's want to do that. And there's one radio station in Chicago that's cool that I think does. They're really well known. It's called WXRT. It's 93.1, and they're very, very well known in that city. It's the oldest rock station in Chicago. And they do a thing called local music anesthetic, where they put on a lot of local music, but that's one station that does that a lot specifically, and that's not enough. You know?
Kind of help out the guys that aren't signed by a big label, and need more things like that. So every Monday you can check out Alex Hoffer at the Chicago Street Pub. Tomorrow night, January 31st of 2019, he is at the Corner Tap. That's in Wilmington, Illinois. And then on February 1st, Board and Barrel at Naperville, Illinois. I was hoping maybe you could send us off with a song of yours.
I think I could do that.
Yeah, pick anyone that you're feeling in the moment.
All right. I think first I just want to make one quick thing. I just want to mention one thing real quick.
Yeah.
My friend Tom does a podcast called "What's Going Down in Downtown J-Town."
Okay.
A chance, check it out. That's downtown Joliet's sort of our like little original music hub, and we're trying to help as much as we can, and any little bit helps. So I just wanted to mention that.
Sure. If you don't mind actually sending me that link, I'll actually post that below on this video, and people can check that out on YouTube, along with alexhoffer.com, where you can check out all of his tracks and see where he's playing next. And take it away for us, Alex.
Thanks. This is a song called "Being Human." Now that we've got all of the information down, won't we all just let these words come spelling out? Instead of this, a merry-go, why do we all fall down? Now I just can't wait for what it was that you know that I needed. People should think this way. Times are good and I would like to stay. Now I'd like to stay all of the time. Well, I'd like to stay all of the time. It seems these days, they're running far too long from me. When I'm awake, that all that I want is to be in my bed, because that just ain't no other place I would rather be. Well, right now, but I just can't know the way you wanted me to do so long ago. No. People should think this way. The times are good and I would like to stay. Now I'd like to stay all of the time. Well, I'd like to stay all of the time. But I would like to stay human all of the time. I know that I would like to stay. Well, I would like to stay. That I would like to stay. Yeah.
Awesome, Alex. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You got an excellent voice, so clearly you were working on that hard.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, because I just realized I probably should have warmed up a little bit before I did this. And I'm drinking hot cocoa too, by the way, which is also, I just say for anybody out there who's trying to figure out what not to do when they're learning to sing is don't drink things with sugar in it. Particularly thick hot drinks are probably not the best thing to drink, or thick any drinks.
Yeah.
Orange juice also is a big no-no.
Yeah, milk too, I heard, is a pretty bad no-no.
Yes, indeed. You end up going
Well,
do a high-pitched Chewbacca.
That's all right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and answering a few of our questions. For anybody who's interested in Alex Hoffer's music, again, I will be posting all the links down below. Click that, follow him, like all his Facebook page and social media, Instagram, all that stuff, all the goodies. Thank you so much, Alex.
I appreciate it, Corey. I appreciate the time.
Take care, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Where she'll go when she needed to get away. When I said she was the one, now I'm the only one looking dumb when I know I wanted to run away.
The world of music production is evolving, and gone are the days of everyone needing to sit in the same studio at the same time. With MusicReach, you can create hit tracks with your friends worldwide. MusicReach is a breakthrough music-sharing iOS app. Share your tracks and ideas with your friends and bandmates, using your chords with their vocals, bass lines, piano riffs, and more. The result? A killer final track crafted from opposite sides of the world. Whether you're a beginner musician or pro, MusicReach can and will change the way you create music. This is not just another social app. This is the ultimate musical collaboration tool, enabling you to create stellar music quickly, easily, and affordably. Kickstart your new musical journey by downloading MusicReach on the App Store now. Register and start recording to experience the difference for yourself. MusicReach. Collaborate with anyone, anywhere.